Hello and welcome to Tools for Standardized Exams, SAT, ACT, and Entry Exam Lessons. The purpose of these slides is to be able to be a standalone handbook that will help students in the process of preparing for college standardized exams, but also this is a great tool to bring back to your classrooms or to share with students who are preparing for this pathway. This was specifically designed for youth experiencing homelessness, but we don't always know which students are experiencing homelessness because of the fear and intimidation they may have of admitting it to other people. As a result, if we use these with larger populations, we may in fact help more homeless students than we would expect otherwise. So while they are a handbook that can be provided to students and they can work with these slides individually, we all know that relationship is the biggest life changer. And so if you use these to mentor students and check in with students and answer questions students have, they'll go a lot farther. So let's dig in. This first slide is just a breathing of belief. Sometimes we need to start with an inspirational true story in order for us to know that people can get through the toughest of times. So this video is just to show that even though this process and the testing is difficult and sometimes we feel like we can't do it, we can get through anything if we use our resources. Like this video, the runner used his dad. It's an Olympic video. So this next slide is specifically about ACT and SAT information. It goes through the facts and debunking confusion about the SAT and ACT. While there are many universities, CSUs and UCs specifically, who have stepped away from requiring the SAT and ACT, there are universities that have stepped away from ACT and SAT, but they're actually returning to the SAT and the ACT. So we always want to encourage students to take the SAT and ACT because we don't know where the future holds. We don't know if the universities and colleges are going to start requiring them. Counseling can offer fee waivers for both the SAT and ACT, so it's a good rule of practice to have that test. There are also free online practices that I've made available for the SAT and the ACT on this slide. So a lot of times students take the ACT or the SAT and they don't necessarily understand the benefits or how to prepare. So this website slide has a series of websites that help them to kind of familiarize themselves with the information about what the SAT and the ACT contain, different prep resources that are available to them, how colleges weigh SATs and ACTs, average acceptance rates versus with ACT and SAT scores, but it also has a resource that compares the SAT and the ACT and helps them to understand how the scores compare and how they're doing, perhaps potentially, for instance, if they score higher on the ACT or the higher on the SAT and how that factors in. This website has two different websites, two different videos on how to prepare for it, what are test taking strategies, and how to deal with test taking anxiety. So these are great resources in preparing as well, not just for skills, but for all the other components of preparing for a test.
Let's be honest.
Again, this is a practice. Khan Academy has practice PSAP, but it also has practice SAT prep as well. This is a specific to the ACT and resources and test practices for the ACT. This helps students to understand their scores. So once the SAT and the ACT scores come in, and actually even before that, how do you get your ACT and SAT scores? Then once they come in, what do you do with them? How do you understand what they mean? How do you send them to the colleges? Because for college applications that require the SAT and ACT scores, if students don't send them by a specific deadline, if they've been accepted, they may not be accepted or they may not be considered for that college. So this explains how to do that. This, again, is another website, another slides that has the SAT and ACT scores. How to also search colleges for the SAT scores, as in what colleges require the SAT and the ACT, what is the average score that is being accepted on the SAT and the ACT. Now, while there's a number of factors like grades, community service, involvement, admissions essays that factor into the college application, the SAT and the ACT is part of some of them. So this helps them to understand what the colleges are looking for and how they weigh those. These are exam session self-care tips, things to do to prepare the day before, things to do while they're taking the SAT and the ACT or any entry exams. This helps to prepare for timed writes if they are taking a test that requires a timed write. So this helps them to deconstruct a prompt. This helps them to brainstorm and how to better approach that test. Again, this is timed essay strategies. It gives them tips on different things they can do while they're taking that timed essay. This is actually specific for how do you revise and you reflect on an SAT essay while you're taking that test. This gives them different strategies to do that. This is additional test prep and knowing what to expect. So it talks to them about the writing component. It talks to them about how to prepare. It talks to them and gives them different tips and strategies for that, how they're weighted, what the rubric looks like. So this is all the information that I have for you for your SAT and ACT entry exam preps. I hope that this is helpful. Again, this resource is not meant to intimidate students, but to break it step by step. But the biggest way that students can feel safe and feel secure and feel prepared is through relationships. So as much as you can, mentoring and checking in, breathing in belief with this slide is going to help to have the best bang for your buck and to reach the most students. Good luck and thank you so much for all that you do.